Dexter.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
And I'm Mom, Arthur Gwen, RVA, City Girl Author. And we're here to just have a candid conversation about who this guy is and how I became who I am today.
Absolutely. And first and foremost, I also want to thank Mr. Joseph Silvers and his wife, Miss Trisha Silvers, for letting us use this wonderful space so we can talk to y'all and share the wonderful things about my mom's new book.
Yes, it's all about this guy here, Dexter Roses. Dexter Sound Becomes King. We're excited that it's actually a 3 times bestseller. So we're really excited about that. This was a dream, as all of my books have come to be. So our story actually begins a long time ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago, in the womb,
Right.
I could hear Dexter having asthma attacks. And I would go to the doctor and we would do stress tests and they would reside after a few days. And then when he was born, he had to be resuscitated at birth. So now when I think about it and the strength of his lungs now and what he does, it was not an opportune time for the enemy to step in at birth knowing where he has come up as today. Great saxophonist, NCCU graduate.
Yep. All of that good stuff.
I am more formally known as my actual birth name is Gwen Griffin of the Griffins from Griffin Avenue. So I am poet, I am author, and I am artist. Let's go back. We're going to start with when you were a little boy. Now, this dream came to me probably after going through some of their, my kids' old schoolwork. I'm a parent. I keep a lot of their writing. Mm-hmm. And they were expected to write in journal with me as well. So one thing that I do remember is coming across a video when he was 1 year old in a pamper, going back and forth across the path, the length of his crib, and it sounds just like a metronome. And we had those large video cameras back then. 55 minutes I recorded, but I believe it was like 2 hours. But I got tired of holding that large camcorder back then. So the story came out of my experiences, knowing that within the womb, I knew he was sensitive to tones. And when I was carrying him, I was teaching kindergarten. So a lot of singing and a lot of disruptive behaviors where I was teaching. And Dexter actually emulated some of those things when he was born, which actually I saw in my classroom, which was, I believe, is strange. But
yes.
But then later on, like when he was 5, 6, of course he had all types of instruments in the living room. In the living space, it was piano, the keyboard, the guitar, you had a recorder, and the drums. The red drum set.
Red drum set.
Yeah, so he would just go from one to the other in his own band. I was like, oh my goodness. So you can hear the ending of one of the instruments and he would be playing on the next instrument and creating his own music. So that's how our life was as a kid. Lots of temper tantrums. Yeah. So lots of temper tantrums till age 10. And I realized that it was because of tone. Because when we would go to service, as long as the music was playing, oh my goodness, from 2 months to 10, he would have terrible temper tantrums when the music would stop. And like when someone's speaking the mic. And then I bring that back up to Sharp 9. It's even on Sharp 9 video. When you said, can I step away from the mic so you can hear my voice? It's something about the tone of the mic and his voice that doesn't agree with his intellectual capacity.
I will say that it's gotten better. Since hosting my radio show at WNCU 90.7 for evening jazz, 8 to 10 p.m. by the way. It's like being able to hear my voice as I'm speaking. It does help that has helped, yes. But I do not like monitors. I don't like hearing my voice back. It just sounds very weird. I don't like it.
Yep. So something about the microphone.
Yeah.
So then, okay, we come up to my dream, and I was like, Dexter, I'm gonna write a book about you. My first book, Miracle's Hope: A Ticket to African American History, is about my niece and her mother's journey. So the title is Dexter's Sound Becomes King, and it is a wonderful RVA and national legendary book. And I wanted to celebrate people who helped him along the way. So it actually begins with him experiencing asthma attacks. So the pictures are very beautifully illustrated. Of course, at the onset of the book, I had an honorable, I believe, conversation with Mr. Branford Marsalis and told him my idea, and I was so honored, and he was too, as to speak to me. But the book has actually made great strides, even before it was picked up on the U.S. marketplace platform. So right now, it is still holding its bestseller status for children's jazz music, children's doctor visits, and children's musical history. So I want this book to be in doctor's office, dentist offices, and we'll talk about why the dentist. And also, of course, to follow and be a companion to my first storybook that's already in Richmond City Public Libraries and Chesterfield County Public Libraries. So let's jump in on children's doctor visits, but let's do the dentist.
Okay. Cool.
Why was the dentist important as far as forming your smile?
Yeah, so the dentist is very important because, well, in general, you got to have your teeth healthy because you're using your teeth, I mean, your whole mouth to play the instrument, obviously, but especially with the vibrations of the instrument against your teeth and everything, you want them to be strong and not so sensitive so that you can be able to play the instrument correctly. And also, if you, like physics wise, the vibration that you hear in your head actually comes from your teeth because it's directly connected to your skull. So the sound that you hear and that you're trying to pretty much visualize or create, mentally, it actually comes through your teeth first and then up in there. So there's a lot of stories of like John Coltrane when he lost one of his teeth because he had cavities and didn't take care of his teeth, and he said it changed his sound forever. I believe, that's like the one thing. And honestly, for some reason, I noticed Sonny Stitt's teeth were very abnormally long. I wonder if his teeth length have something to do with somebody's sound. But that's a whole other thing. I'm just kind of going off on my ideas. But yes, you have to have healthy teeth. Brush them every day. No cavities. Yeah. Don't even worry. That's it.
Okay, so that's a great plug-in for our dentist office.
That's right.
We did have a great dentist, Lombardozzi.
Yeah,
he knew music.
Right.
Oh, so let's see what else can we pull out. Dentist office. Okay, pre-K. What did you memorize?
So it was Pachelbel's Canon in D. They would play it during nap time, and I would always just stay up. I'd never sleep. I would just stay up and just listen to it. It was one CD. I guess maybe it was a tape back then. But it just always mesmerized me until I figured out what it was. I didn't know what the song was until I got my own keyboard, and it was one of the presets. And I was like, oh, this is the song that I remember listening to during nap time. One of my favorite pieces. So beautiful.
So guess what song early on that he had the greatest challenge with?
I think it was like Hot Cross Buns. Only because it was the G on the saxophone.
Oh.
I call it the grandpa note because it's always cranky. I tell my students that all the time. They usually squeak and whatnot, and so I would just cry. have a temper tantrum because I couldn't hit a G or a concert B flat on the alto.
Yep. So then later on, high school years, we're gonna jump a few years. We have Jimmy Carver. Mm-hmm.
James Carver.
James,
well, but they could call him Jimmy. It was both. It was
some
both.
musicians know him as
yeah.
But
Jimmy C.
Yeah, and he did give you the saxophone.
Yeah, so
graduation.
He gifted me a soprano saxophone that I still use to this day for graduation.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, I've taken all around the world, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Awesome. And that led to us meeting this guy named Mr. James Saxmo Gates. Take it, Dexter.
Yeah, so I've been studying with him all throughout high school. It blew my mind because when I first met him, I had previously been listening to jazz throughout middle school. And I thought the jazz only existed in the records back then. I didn't expect anybody to actually be playing it right now. And then our first lesson was him playing Confirmation, and he said, this is how Charlie Parker would play it. Plays it like Charlie Parker. This is how John Coltrane would play it. This is how Sonny Stitt would play it. This is how Cannonball would play it. This is how I would play it. Lesson over. I didn't even get my horn out. And in my head, I just had like a headache. I couldn't go back actually for like 2 weeks afterwards because I had just a huge headache. It just like blew my mind because I was like, wait a minute, this is real. He's doing it. This is not, stuck in these CDs or whatnot. So yeah, since then, he's been a great supportive mentor, and he's actually going to be featured on my upcoming album we're set to record in April. It's entitled New Perspective. So full circle. Oh,
just amazing. Next we have Desiree Roots Centillo, the first lady of song that's our RVA leading lady of jazz. She is debuting in this title as well.
Yeah.
So grab your copy if you want to see.
That's right, RBA's finest.
Yes, Mr. Marvin Taylor. Everybody knows the Marvin Taylor experience.
Yes.
He was so gracious to me and Dexter as far as anytime Dexter needed a mouthpiece, Marvin Taylor was coming with it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Yep.
Every time. Marvin Taylor.
Yep. Always.
And then we have, oh my God, Mr. Michael, the man Hawkins.
Yeah.
The charismatic bassist gave you your first gig.
Yep. I love Michael.
He loved him. Helped Mama out with that first penny.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to let Dexter go on with the next 3 experiences, beginning with Mr. Branford Marsalis.
Yeah. So, pretty much as the undergrad and graduate student at Central, I've had the opportunity to study with Branford Marsalis for 6 years, though he will never say that I was ever one of his students. Since I actually had been studying with Gates, who happened to go to school with Branford, he was like, I just had to show him. If anything, he showed me how to listen. I didn't understand the connection between all these different styles and genres because he's played almost every single one possible with the saxophone, but he taught me how to really listen and like actively listen to music, and it eventually started blurring the lines between all these different genres, and I started making connections. And then it would happen where I would go into our lessons and then I would get him hip to a recording, and he was like, oh, where did you find this? And I was like, I'm just a huge, I collect music. I'm just a big music collector, bootlegs, especially in jazz. So yeah, it's just a great relationship, and we still talk to this day. And yeah, he's always been a wonderful mentor and inspiration.
Yes, I just want to note this. I remember this was in 2014, so you can count back the years. But I remember I wasn't able to even pay the fee for the concert here.
Was it Friday, April 11th,
April 11th, 2014. I didn't even have to even have Dexter be able to attend. But the next day, remember, see, Mama, we had to go pull one of the posters off the wall.
Well, no. So here's the story. Here's the real story. Just in case you didn't remember, my best friend Noah Campbell, he went to the concert.
Yes.
And he knew I couldn't go, and so he collected he got a poster and he brought it back to me and he gave it to me at school. And by the way, Noah Campbell's a great tenor saxophonist, instrumentalist musician. Right now he's up in Providence getting his PhD in political science from Brown University. So very, very interesting guy, but great musician. Either way, yes. So he gave me that poster after he went to the concert. He was like, "It was so awesome."
He put it off the wall.
He figured I would appreciate it, so I put it in my wall in my bedroom. Yeah, and it's been there.
Yes.
For a long time, obviously.
So that's the story behind how we got the poster.
Yes.
But we have to trickle back to Richmond Youth Jazz Guild.
Yes.
With Ashby Anderson.
Right. So started with Ashby Anderson at the Richmond Youth Jazz Guild. It was around 6th grade. One of my friends at the time, he wasn't my friend. He was another student in the band class that I was in. He was playing a song, and I was like, well, at the time I just thought I was going to be a classical saxophonist, read music. It's going to be easy. I was like, jazz is too hard. So he was playing this song, and I was like, hey man, what song are you playing it? He was better than everybody else. He played alto saxophone. He was like, I ain't going to tell you. And I was like, okay, whatever, I don't care. And so during lunch, I had, I had like a juice box. Yeah, that's right. It was apple juice. And I couldn't drink the milk, so that was the only thing I could drink at the time, was the apple juice.
Right.
Because I'm lactose intolerant. But anyway,
story.
He saw me from, it was like across the table, and he looked at my juice, and he was like, hey. And I was like, what you want? What you want, man? He was like, I'll tell you the name of the song if you give me that juice. Mind you, that was the only thing I had to drink. I said, go on, take the juice, man. And he said, it's Doxy by Sonny Rollins. And so I went home, and I looked it up, and I was like, this is cool. And he could tell that I was into it because I was trying to learn it and stuff when I got back to school. And then he introduced me to the Richmond Youth. He gave me a pamphlet for the Richmond Youth Jazz Guild and said, this is where I, go for music lessons. You should check it out. And eventually, that's when we started becoming friends, But, his name is Nick Paul. Hopefully he's doing well. I haven't heard from him in a while, but he's a good guy. Good guy.
Hello to his mom, who's a librarian.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, you take a sip of tea. It's like, I'm good. All right.
So that leads us to the Ferguson Gallery having an opportunity to play.
Oh, yes.
Wednesday.
Yes. So through the Richmond Youth Jazz Guild, I think it was 7th grade, we were able to go to, I believe, Christopher Newport University, Ferguson Center, and see Jazz at Lincoln Center perform. And what was really special about it is that we were actually able to go to sound check and play these impossible charts that they were reading. It was like Sherman Irby's arrangement of Giant Steps, which was like completely insane. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I was just there just for the hang, And then after the concert, we were able to go backstage, and each one of us from the jazz group were able to play for Wynton Marsalis. And when he got to me, I mean, I'll let you talk about your part, but I'll say quickly as musically, I remember him saying, you got a unique articulation. He was really nice, really nice about it. He said, you got a really unique articulation. I haven't heard anybody, articulate that before. And I was playing Doxy. That was the song I played for him. And what I was doing wrong, which he didn't want to tell me, was I wasn't articulating with my tongue. I was going, but I was so excited. So I was, he was really nice about it. And I eventually got to meet him a couple more times and stuff. So, great
so,
person.
I was there, and I didn't have paper or pencil, but I got pen from somebody, and the only thing I had with paper was a checkbook. Now, you know that was a little while back. And what is inscribed in the book, Dexter is extraordinary, has internal dialogue and rhythm. He has a rare sound with feelings, concept, and harmony. One thing he does is listen. This is actually on my check stub. I still have the check where I was trying to write everything that he was saying to Dexter because I knew Dexter most likely wouldn't remember. And then I just felt that to be a prophetic moment for us. Yes. Yeah. So, and your journey with Delphia Marsalis.
So just through recommendation from Branford, Delphia Marsalis contacted me to play with Uptown Jazz Orchestra, and I did a part of a tour with them this past February, and in the year before last year, I did a couple of performances with the group in North Carolina. And so it was an honor, and it's always an honor to be around those great musicians, especially ones from New Orleans that understand the culture, of where jazz originated. And then he's been a good support during the tour. For me, it's like the first time I've ever been gone for an extended period playing music and having to be on every single time. The people, they just see us on stage, but to be a part of like the itinerary of the traveling, of the 5 a.m., 4 a.m. lobby calls to just go to the next state. We went to Idaho, and then the next, couple of days that we went to DC, like it was a whole nother side, of the U.S. But overall, it has been just a great experience, and being able to be around serious musicians and learn. That's what at the end of the day, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can.
So, thank you for your time today, Dexter. I am presenting you my son today as well because I thought it was just so important to hear his voice. Because it is actually his story that was implanted in my head as a dream that I developed as I have always in my writing. So
yes.
How should we end this, Dexter?
This has been Tea Time with Dexter Moses and Gwen Arthur, Moses.
The book is available online. This is the best time to get it. No time is not a best time. Every day, all day, whenever you wish. But we're going to sign off.
Awesome.
And we hope to see you grabbing a copy.
That's right.
Keeping those numbers up, and we're just ecstatic about what has taken place.
Amen. Wow.